Hello, hello. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic, let's see, what is it today? Monday. Wait for a couple people to hop on here. If you're just hopping on, make sure you let me know below, say hello, send me some hearts, whatever it is. But today is Mom Life Monday, and I want to talk a little bit about how moms have had to adapt or overcome the challenges or the just the adaptations that women, particularly mothers, have had to overcome in 2020. It's become a really popular topic. It's become a really popular thing in my house too, talking with different people. So if you are a mom on the line, let me know below. Send me your favorite GIF. If you're just hopping on, it's the replay. Make sure you're commenting replay below as well. This is how you're going to find me most days. In a hat, messy bun, because to be honest, mom life in 2020 is a little bit different than any other year I've been a mom, and I've been a mother for, well, my son is 12. He'll be 13 next August. So I've been a mom for a little bit now, and this is unlike anything I've ever experienced. So it's a little bit about today. Today I voted. Early voting still took an hour and 45 minutes. But got it done. Make sure you go out, do your civil duty, go vote. My vote counted, got my sticker. Anyway, 1950s meets 2020. It almost feels as if as moms we've taken the backseat, or we've gone back in time, and not only are we now educators, but we're also, or if we're homeschooling, or even if we're not homeschooling and we're doing virtual, or we're doing the hybrid, or whatever it is. If you have a kid school age, tell me what they're doing for school below. I'd love to know. I know my children are doing 100% virtual learning, which I'll tell you has been good and bad, just depending on the day. And I'll tell you guys a little bit about how that's been for us and what we're doing. But it's leaving moms feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, feeling guilty, and then feeling guilty for feeling guilty, and then resent for children, or resent for or the schools or the teachers or anything else. Now, I will tell you, my children have been blessed, super blessed with their teachers. If you're just hopping on, make sure you say hi below. I don't know what's going on. I can't even see any comments or anything. I don't like this. Ooh, there we go. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, but feeling guilty for feeling guilty, resenting teachers, all that kind of good stuff. So yes, so my kids' teachers are great. We've developed a system. They've gotten this groove. They've gotten this thing going where they hop on a Zoom for my daughter. She's in second grade. Hops on a Zoom for 20 minutes, hops off, does her schoolwork, then hops on another Zoom, and then does some more schoolwork. But if I weren't there to answer questions all the time, she wouldn't get it done. If I wasn't on a Zoom, on a tablet, watching my son do his virtual learning, he would be on YouTube. And I can say this because I found out he was, and that's why he was behind. Well, I could have killed him. But anyway, yes. So for now almost more than half a year, parents, we've been put in a position that we're trying to juggle watching, being with our kids full time, while also trying to be productive and effective employees. And more often it seems like moms are catching the brunt of it. And I think it's because of this that we're struggling maybe with more anxiety, more loneliness, and even more depression. Caring for our children, bringing in an income, preparing meals, cleaning and doing laundry, while we are also managing schedules, has left us feeling almost unable to give anymore. If this is you, comment below, because there are days where I don't feel like I have anything else left to give. It's just an insane concept that now what started out seeming like a sprint is now like a freaking marathon. There's no end in sight in this. We're looking at going into another trimester here of virtual learning and kids being at home full time while I'm running my business full time. And I know that I've looked to moms that have done homeschool in the past because I needed some advice on what it was going to be like adding paraprofessional, essentially. If you are an at-home, a work-at-home mom while your kids are doing either hybrid or virtual or whatever kind of learning they are, you have signed up to be a paraprofessional. That's what we're doing. We're literally doing the work of someone that's in school. I respect teachers way more than I ever did before. I mean, and I did because I went to school to be an educator and just chose not to be an educator for children because there's no way I could handle it. But now, keeping them on task, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and all of this stuff, I can't, I just want to know, I guess, that I am not alone out there in this. And so, but then on the other hand, I don't want to look back in 20 years and think that I didn't make the time or make the most of the time that I have with these kids either, that they're at home. Because that too is super stressful. I mean, when you have all this extra time with your kids, extra time, which is really not, it's just time that you are in charge of watching and making sure that they're under your care all the time. But this extra time now, it's like, oh, we need to pull out the craft projects, and oh, we need to do all this other extra stuff, and we didn't have time to do that necessarily in the first place, and now they're home and we feel this insane amount of pressure to do more of that stuff too. Momming in 2020 is a whole nother animal. I would love to know some of your thoughts and opinions on this too, and how you feel about being a mom in 2020 and how virtual learning or how your schooling is affecting your relationship with your kids. Do you feel like it's helping them excel in school? Do you think that it's holding you back? Do you think that it's holding your kids back? Has it eliminated you from bringing in an income? What kinds of changes has 2020 as a mom brought to your life? That's what I want to know. I went from working full-time outside of the home, having a part-time business, at-home business, my side hustle, if you will, to not being able to work at my full-time business or a full-time job for various reasons. One, I was furloughed and they eliminated my position. And two, just the sheer fact that I couldn't work full-time while my kids were at home, help them with school, and have someone under their care the whole time, and have them go to school and have the same kind of routine for 5 days out of the week instead of 2 or 3. So that was my choice. So now I full-time, I own 2 different businesses and I work completely out of my home. One thing or a couple things that I want to, I guess, impress upon is that we have to try to keep our mom guilt to a minimum, which is easier than it's said and done. I know there are days that I feel guilty that I don't make them a gourmet lunch, but I have to remind myself that when they were at school, they had PB&J. Or they had school lunch. So the mom guilt, try to keep that to a minimum. That's not helping anyone either, right? And that perfectionism will actually send you to the loony bin. That perfectionism made me into a control freak and made everybody in my house miserable for the first part of this whole thing. Because I didn't have any control on anything that was going on around me, so I felt like I had to control my house. And so I was doing all the cooking, I was doing all the cleaning. I had to keep myself busy or I was going crazy. And so that perfectionism literally made me feel like I was going to go to the crazy house. So try to let go of some of that. That'll help a little bit. Having a schedule is necessary. Let it be loose, but having that schedule on days that the kids are home if you're in hybrid, or having a schedule for when you are doing virtual learning, it's necessary. It is absolutely necessary. Without that schedule, kids love structure. My kids don't think they like structure, but they love structure. They feel better when they know what they're going to be doing when, and what's the next thing that they're going to be doing, and all that stuff. Another thing that's really helped us is to focus on what's possible rather than what's impossible. Some days, the smallest things are impossible. Some days, it's just not worth fighting over. And so those little things, just letting go of them, has become that grace, having a little bit of extra grace. And then asking for specific help. Like, specific, guys. Like, if you have a spouse at home and you have to, like, for instance, I had a meeting. I need you to make the kids lunch today, to make sure they eat, okay? And I know it sounds crazy, but that's those specific help, because then everybody feels like they're a part of it. Then everybody feels like they're winning. Then everybody feels like they're helping make the whole thing move, right? And I know for me that was hard. I have a hard time asking for help. If you're like me, let me know below, because I have a super hard time asking for help. But what was going on, just a side note, what was going on in my house is that I was super hands-off, trusted that everything was going well, and I realized why teachers get paid to watch over kids, making sure they're doing their work, is because when you give a kid an online program and you ask them to do what even some adults can't do, they slack off, just like adults would. And so I wasn't paying close enough attention, and one of my children, my oldest son, was spending time on YouTube instead of doing his schoolwork, and hid it from me for almost the first trimester. We have 2 weeks left in the first trimester, and I found out about it, I think, 2 weeks ago. So this stuff happens, and so giving ourselves grace, finding systems that work. And let me tell you, if you are a stay-at-home or work from home mother, and you are in this situation where you have kids that are learning from home, and you need a way to watch them, find an extra device, an old phone, one that's not being used during the day, one of your kids' tablets that they're not allowed to use during the school day or something, and set up Zoom on it in the room that they're doing their schoolwork, so you can watch them and answer questions, because there's a microphone, and you can mute yourself out, and you can turn down the volume, and then they can talk to you, and you don't have to interrupt what you're doing for working, and then you can watch what they're doing, help them with questions that they have, and you guys can have your own separate workspaces. If you have the space to allow it to do that, I highly recommend it. If you're local to me, and you guys all pretty much know, if you're local to me, and you're a virtual learner, and you're a parent or a mom that's struggling, we have a great, amazing parent support group that I launched the day before school started, and it's been an excellent resource for laughing, for just problems and struggles and things like that too. So just know that parenting in 2020 is hard. It doesn't matter if you're a mom or a dad. It just seems like moms are getting the brunt of it. The adaptations that we've had to take on a lot of extra hats, put on a lot of extra hats than what we're normally used to. Before, we were the working mom and the supportive dance mom and the soccer mom and all that kind of stuff, and now we're the paraprofessional, and we're the lunch lady, and we're the counselor, and we're the tutor, and we're the, you name it, we're everything. Okay? So have some grace on yourself. Know that there's a lot of support out there for you, and that you're not the only mom going through it. If you have a favorite GIF that explains what mom life in 2020 is, I'd love to see it below. And I know this was kind of a rant and a ramble, but I've been feeling a certain way about being a mom in 2020. Some days I love it. Don't get me wrong. Some days I absolutely love it. Some days I think it's great. And other days, I don't want to get out of bed because I don't want to do it. So I think that's part of motherhood in general. So anyway, I will let you guys go for the evening. Tomorrow is Tuesday, Election Day. Make sure you guys get out and go vote if you haven't already. It's gonna be long lines, I assume, at the polls tomorrow. But tomorrow is Tip Tuesday, so we are going to go forward, and I will see you guys hopefully earlier during the day on a live video tomorrow. See ya!